Hello, and welcome to this series on looking at the internal environment. So previously we've looked at what goes on in the external environment and the industry environments and what happens around the organization or what external to the organization. Now we're going to shift our focus to what's happening inside the organization and look at some of the things that we need to think about when understanding what we have as an organization and what we're able to do. So first, we're going to look at the resource-based model of above average returns. We're then going to look at how we conduct an internal analysis. What does it look like? What sustainable competitive advantage is? And you've heard this term before. How do we create value, particularly value for our customers, because they're the ones who pay us for our goods and services? And what sorts of challenges we might face within an internal analysis? So the resource-based model of above average returns assumes that each organization is a collection of unique resources and capabilities that provides basis for its strategies and the primary source of returns, or our competitive advantage. So differences in the firm's performance are primarily due to their unique resources and capabilities rather than some of the structural characteristics of the industry. So by this we mean, what things do we have in our organization that make us special, as opposed to what makes up all the competitors within our industry? It proposes that resources are inputs into a firm's reduction process. The capabilities we have are a set of resources and capacity to use these resources to perform a task. And these capabilities can evolve and be managed dynamically over time. So you can see here, figure 1.3 out of your text looks at identifying the resource-based model of above average returns and works through identifying what the resources are, looking at strengths and weaknesses, looking at what some of the capabilities are. So these are often the intangible things that we can do with our resources, looking at what the potential is of what we can do with our resources and capabilities, locating an attractive industry, and we've touched on this previously, and then selecting a strategy that best allows the firm to use our resources and capabilities relative to opportunities of what's going on around us to create an above average return. So how do we conduct an internal analysis? We look at what tangible and intangible resources we have. So tangible resources can be physical items such as buildings, cars. Intangible resources, things like human resources or patents or trademarks or copyrights. We look at the capabilities we have. So this is often the people and the knowledge and the tacit knowledge that have within an organization to turn these tangible and intangible resources into a good or service. This then forms our core competencies, and we'll look at that a bit later. This then forms our core competencies, and we'll look at that again a bit later. Once we've discovered our core competencies, we can understand the value that we add. Now, to very quickly touch on what makes up a core competency, it means that the resources and capabilities we have must be valuable, must be rare, must be costly to imitate, and must be non-substitutable. And we'll touch on this a lot more, particularly in the workshops. This then leads us to create a competitive advantage and hopefully to maintain strategic competitiveness. So when we try to achieve a sustainable competitive advantage, we need to understand that an organizational firm has the ability to undertake value creating activities. Remember that value is in the eye of the beholder or our customer. When a firm uses its unique resources, capabilities to create new competencies, we can then achieve a competitive advantage. So the sustainability of a competitive advantage is a function of three factors. The first is managing our portfolio of resources. So understanding what do we have at our disposal? How can we use it to the best of our abilities? Leveraging the firm's unique resources and capabilities to create strategic competitiveness. So using these resources and capabilities and using them in the best way possible. And third but not least is ensuring a global mindset. So understanding that with the rise of technology and the internet, we know that competitive advantage brings a whole host of new competitors into our mix. What does this mean for our organization? So how do we create value? Value is measured by a product's performance characteristics and attributes. Again, as I said, value is in the eye of the customer. If the customer doesn't see value in either the product or the price of the product, they won't buy it. Value is in the form of goods or services for which customers are willing to pay. So a reiteration of that last sentence. It needs to be provided by competing firms. So we have a number of organizations that come together in order to compete and provide value for customers. So creating value for customers is our source of above average returns, and it requires a firm to leverage its resources and capabilities and create value by using the selected strategies that we've touched on to understand what the customer is after, as well as to be able to try and serve this need. Now we think about some of the challenges of an internal analysis. Managers, particularly their strategic decisions about resources and capabilities and core competencies, are what we call non-routine and have ethical and competitive implications with other competitors in the industry. We don't make strategic decisions on a day-to-day basis. So managers then must have courage, self-confidence, and integrity, as well as the capacity to deal with uncertainty and complexity, and the willingness to hold themselves and others accountable for the strategy that they put into place. So hopefully you guys as managers should have the intangible knowledge in order to face uncertainty in terms of new proprietary technologies, i.e. internet, AI, rapidly changing economic and political trends, transformation in social values, as well as shifts in customer demands.